non-conference season. When you talk about Butler, Keelan Martin will lead the way.
Yeah, he really is the key to them, because he can't just be a scorer. He has to lead on the defensive end, and most importantly for Coach Jordan, verbally, he has to talk to his teammates. He's got to lead from so many different aspects for this team.
For Georgetown, the man in the middle. How many times have we said for Georgetown, the man in the middle? This time, Jesse Govan.
Got some big shoes to fill, and not just his coaches. There's been some great big men here at Georgetown, but he has to be more effective defensive in shooting the ball.
Averaging a double-double on the year, 19 points, over 12 rebounds per game, and Big East play is underway. After the non-conference season, both teams with 10 wins, Georgetown with 1 loss, Butler with 3 losses, and quick work inside to one of the 2 keys for the Hoyas to get this offense going, Marcus Derricks.
And that's what Patrick Ewing said, and obviously he's a big man, and big men are going to love to play for him, and he said that. Those 2 guys have to lead us, and they start the right way. Butler is going to have their hands full inside tonight.
Martin trying to get it going from outside. The 3 won't go. They were 18 of 31 from 3 their last time out against Western Illinois, and a turnover back to Butler.
And I like this. Butler's going to extend it. They want the floor to be wide open. They want moving parts. They want Georgetown all over the place. Tough matchup. Keelan Martin and Jesse Govan on the perimeter.
13 to shoot for Martin. Martin on the attack, using the window to get the roll.
Now, the reason that happens is because Derrickson and Govan, lack of communication. 2 guys stayed with Keelan Martin. He drags them out, and then once one releases, now the other guy can't get back in place.
Jamarco Pickett going to work for Georgetown. Jumps it back out for Govan. 8 to shoot. The fadeaway. Tough shot. Derrickson making it look easy.
I think it's an interesting matchup. You talk about how similar they are. But one side likes the perimeter guys, their guards in Butler, and Georgetown, they're led by their bigs. Even though their bigs will be on the perimeter, they don't have the quickness that Butler has.
Paul Jorgensen, the ball in his hands right now, has been a nice surprise for Butler from a scoring standpoint this year, and a foul on the pass inside to Tyler Weidman. There's LaVall Jordan, first-year head coach, back at his alma mater.
Cougs, this is what I'm talking about. You got 2 bigs. Someone's got to release. They don't know which one is going to stop guarding the ball. And at that point, Keelan Martin's too good of an offensive player for you to give him that much space going to the basket.
Jorgensen from the elbow. A little bit strong on his first attempt. Govan with the rebound. Looking to push is Mulmore. A little extra push at the end is an offensive foul.
I mean, it's just good basketball right there. Thompson stands in, takes the charge. Did that earlier in the season. You know, he's one of those type players that is so good position-wise. He can give you anywhere between 1 and 3 charges a game. That's exactly what you want from your guard play defensively. It sets the tone early for your team on the road.
Martin off a little fake, steps in for the 2. Can't get the roll. Govan with the rebound. His second rebound in the early going.
Yeah, I don't like it. Those long 2s you can get anytime, especially if you're Martin. Put that ball on the floor or step back and get a 3.
Had plenty of time to shoot that one. Derrickson working inside. He's been active early, and he draws the contact and the foul.
I think it's interesting. Patrick Ewing, you have to remember all the accolades in the world. 11-time NBA All-Star. 2-time unanimous All-American at Georgetown. I mean, the list goes on, and a terrific defensive player that he doesn't get enough credit for because he scored over 24,000 points and over 11,000 rebounds as a player. But he knows defensively how teams will struggle, because in the NBA, you focus on a weak spot or you focus on the star, meaning you want Derrickson going at Keelan Martin, because if you get him in foul trouble, advantage Georgetown.
You know what's one of the more impressive things in a long list of impressive accomplishments for Patrick Ewing is that he took a 15-year assistant path. He paid his dues to become a head coach at the college level. I mean, you don't see that a lot from the greats of all time, and he's certainly one of them.
I got to be honest, though. I think he should have been an assistant coach or a head coach halfway through that tenure of being an assistant.
Weidman pulls the trigger, and Weidman able to hit. They missed him against Western Illinois. They won the game big, but he was out after having his wisdom teeth extracted.
Ever had your wisdom teeth pulled?
I did, yeah. It was awful.
The key is to get them all done at the same time.
Which I did.
Yep.
This was before the days where they knock you out for dentistry, though. Govan can't get the roll. There's a foul underneath, battling for the rebound. Caleb Johnson got pushed underneath there by Keelan Martin.
I mean, and again, you start to wonder if you're LaVall Jordan. You know, Keelan Martin, you want him to be aggressive, but you just can't have him in there with the cheap fouls. It's just, you can't afford that. You don't have that deep of a bench if you're Butler.
Fade away along the baseline for Derrickson. A rebound by Weidman.
This part of the game is big for Butler. In transition, try to get something going before Georgetown can get set up.
And Weidman couldn't find the handle on that one. Ball loose, so the foul is going to be called. It'll go against Georgetown. Working in there, Caleb Johnson whistled for the personal, his second.
Yeah, you can't fault the young fellow for that. He's on the floor, he's working hard. Those are tough ones that coaches will say, all right, look, the effort was there. What are you going to do?
Jagan Mosley on the floor for the first time tonight, the 6'3" sophomore. Averaging just over 7 points per game. Thompson trying to find some room to work. 12 on the shot clock. Here's Jorgensen. Now Thompson from the elbow. That one won't go. Govan with the rebound, his third.
Great defensive set. Georgetown staying in front of guys and forcing players into positions they're not comfortable with.
Entry to Derrickson. Had that one popped away into the hands of a teammate, Mulmore, and now Mosley will reset it with 13 to shoot. And a foul.
Wow. That is, but isn't that Butler basketball? Stand in, give your body up, take a charge. Big East opener, folks. We got a good one. Butler, Georgetown, don't go away.
Patrick Ewing taking the long road to get back to his alma mater. That road through the NBA, through several teams as an assistant coach.
And look who he's been close to, another Hall of Famer, Yao Ming. I mean, you go down the list of bigs that he's helped. Dwight Howard, Patrick Ewing, obviously loved in Charlotte. Michael Jordan, one of his closest friends in the world, owner of the Charlotte Hornets. But to be back here, and you and I talked to him before the game, and I always wonder with guys who are, like I said, they're iconic Hall of Famers, is it ever on their radar to go back to their alma mater and coach? You've seen Chris Mullin do it. I don't think it was on his radar,
right?
You know, when he got done playing or when he was, you know, in the head office of teams. But Patrick Ewing told us the same thing. Listen, I never planned this. It came up. I talked to people close to me. It was the right thing to do, and he did it.
Kamar Baldwin, after Butler breaks the pressure, missing on the three, and tie up between Mosley and Weidman. It'll stay with the Bulldogs.
The other thing, too, is he said, you know, John Thompson II pops. You know, he called Patrick and said, hey, I think you need to take this job. So I think when you get that phone call, I don't think there's really any decision to be made by you. It's already been made by Pops.
The call was made.
That's it.
You really ought to think about applying for this job.
That's it.
Okay.
Okay. Guess that means I better.
McDermott, the entry inside to Martin. Back out to McDermott for an open three. A little bit strong, and Butler 0 for 3 from behind the arc to start this one off. After going 18 of 31 their last time out from three. Offensive rebound, and Govan ripping it down and putting it up and in.
You got to give Georgetown credit again defensively. They are long. They take up a lot of space, so they shrink the court for you. Got to thread the needle with these guys.
An offensive foul on Weidman. That's the third offensive foul in this game so far.
His nickname is Finesse Jess. There's nothing finesse about this move by Jesse Govan, carving out space. The key to that play, though, what I'm sure he's seen his coach do on YouTube, there, I think they can find some video, dusted up of Patrick Ewing. But the thing that he did there, he kept his eye on the ball once he found the player behind him. You got to see where that ball's coming off. That's what great rebounders do. Follow the ball.
Pickett on a jump stop into the lane, gets it in, and a foul. Jamarco Pickett, big time move, and he'll go to the line for one more.
Yeah, it's a great move because he's under control here. Handle, 1, 2. The hop step is what keeps you under control and what helps you draw that foul. You go off of one, you're a little bit more off balance in all that traffic.
Pickett completing the three-point play. Good start for the Hoyas, up 11-4, and now the pressure applied again. Martin off the press break with the three.
See, I don't mind that shot. Earlier, he took a shot fake, one dribble, and it's about a 17, 18-footer. You can get that anytime. I like that early in the shot clock. Shoot that three. Not shooting it well this season, but still, you're a scorer.
Govan with the hook shot. Cleaning it up is McDermott. Now Butler on the move again. Kamar Baldwin. Around the screen from Nate Fowler. Baldwin again. McDermott tries the three. And the rebound by Momor.
Boy, they close out quick, don't they? I mean, you think you got some space, the length, under control defensively. For Butler, they got to find someone else who can score the basketball. Kamar Baldwin's got to figure out his guys. He's not a true point guard, but he's got to figure it out in a hurry here.
Just 3 for 10 from the floor tonight, Donnie, for Butler, and 1 for 5 from 3.
That's where you got to get it right there. You got to get it in transition before the length and the size of Georgetown can disrupt things.
Here's Derrickson. He had the hot hand early, 6 points so far. Around the screen, the three for Jamarco Pickett, who's got 6 as well.
It's going to be pretty good. How long? Showed you could put it on the floor. Now he just soft touch, steps back from deep.
Had signed with Ole Miss. They went through an assistant coaching change. Georgetown able to pick him up.
Happens a lot. A lot of people put pressure and a lot of onus on the head coach. But when an assistant leaves who does all the grunt work for recruiting guys, it can be the difference in kids staying or leaving.
Got to hurry. 2 on the shot clock. And it's taken away inside. And then Momor steps out. 1 on the shot clock for Butler.
Look, a lot has been made of Georgetown this year and their schedule, strength of schedule, second to last out of 351 teams. But I tell you what, Patrick Ewing said, I don't care. I don't care about the record. And it's so true. You've got to give kids a chance to feel what it's like to be a winner. And they've done that so far.
Jorgensen with the shot clock going off. That is waved off. A shot clock violation as Jorgensen hit the three, but hit it late.
And it's not like the NBA where you have the tenths, but even that was at 0 before it left his hand.
They're going to check it.
I think that's the struggle that Laval Jordan's going to have this season when Keelan Martin is under control, when teams have guarded him the right way. Who's going to step up? You know, Kamar Baldwin, he's shooting under 30% from 3, so he's not that effective from long range. Paul Jorgensen is probably the next guy. I think probably the toughest guy when you talk about plays with a chip on their shoulder. It's Jorgensen, and he can shoot the lights out as well.
They have confirmed a shot clock violation.
Easy one.
Yeah, Jorgensen's been a big surprise for this Butler team, though. They weren't sure exactly what he was going to bring from a scoring standpoint. 12 points per game early on. More importantly, shooting 44% from 3 and almost 50% from the floor.
I'd say you get him touches, right? I mean, that's the guy you want to have him touching the ball, maybe weak side, opposite side of Keelan Martin. If a double team is run at him, Jorgensen's on the other side waiting, can get it going, score a lot of points in a short time.
Ball tipped into the hands of Momor. That one knocked away again and taken away by Martin. Now Keelan Martin up the floor quickly. All the way to the rim, and Martin with a left hand lays it in.
And that's a part of his leadership as well. He has to know when to give that ball up and when to, again, in transition, get something easy. Butler's issue is, when they haven't played well this season, the ball just sticks. It's gluey. You know, guys aren't moving that ball around.
Govan with the left hand won't go out of bounds, and it's stand on this end. Antoine Walker checking in as Jesse Govan will get a breather. Trey Dickerson, former South Dakota Coyote, former Iowa Hawkeye on the floor. And this is his first Big East game.
This is the issue for Patrick Ewing. When you go to your bench, who's going to give you what? You know, even with a one-loss record, you still are trying to figure things out because the competition obviously is better tonight than you've seen most of the season.
Deep three for Mosley. That one is true. Mosley hitting from long range for his first bucket and an 8-point Georgetown lead.
And that's all you want. When your stud goes to the bench, if whoever you can get out there to make a shot for you, almost to pad some of that time where your big can get some rest.
Good look inside from Martin. Martin, the double team comes, able to pass out of it. It's a rejection. Fowler couldn't get it over the outstretched arms of Derrickson. Now Mosley. Here's Walker. That one dying as McDermott grabs the board.
Yeah, who's your offense go through? Big question mark. It's got to be Derrickson, but if you can get something in transition, even better.
Martin's three, no. Rebound tipped out to Dickerson. Now Dickerson trying to push.
This is where you got to be good.
Didn't have numbers. Took it to the rim. Couldn't get it to go. The rebound to Baldwin. Now Butler on the run. Thompson to the rim. The scoop falls for Aaron Thompson, and a timeout taken by Georgetown.
And that's what LaVall Jordan told us. He wants to get out. You don't want to take bad shots, but you'll be surprised if you penetrate, they suck in. Now the next guy's open. You get wide open shots that way.
I'll just distract
not
by calling
Kevin
play.
Kugler.
I mean, that's all I'll do.
Someone will be open, not named Kevin Kugler Mellencamp.
Blair can't get that one to go, but Javon Blair going to the line.
I think what's awesome about it is Patrick Ewing drew it up. He told them what to do, but not only that, the way they responded to it. First play down, turn the corner, get fouled. I mean, that more than anything shows how important the transition for Patrick Ewing has been, and really the impact he's made in a short time is that, you know, there are a lot of coaches around the country who tell their kids, listen, this is what we're doing our timeout. You get halfway down the floor, three of them forget what they're running. So it's a testament to Ewing and his staff to see the plays actually happen the way you draw it up.
When we were asking him earlier about Jesse Govan, but I don't know that it would be any different for anybody else on the team. He said he didn't have an option. I demand this of him. I'm guessing that Govan's not the only one that he makes demands of on this squad. I demand that he do it the right way, and I demand he do it this way. And he didn't give him an option. If you want to play and be successful, this is how you're going to do it.
And some players you can demand all you want. If they don't have the talent to go with it, you might as well be talking to the air.
Paul Jorgensen with the air ball. And Butler now 1 for 7, Donnie, from three-point land.
You know, really, because of the fact that Georgetown is set, you know, their defense is really distracting. That was probably the most open shot Butler has had from three tonight. But other times, the length of the Hoyas has really been outstanding in closing guys out.
On the drive inside and a foul. Javon Blair has been an aggressor since he's entered this game. Second foul on Henry Badley, who has picked up those 2 fouls at about a minute and a half of game time.
I like that Patrick Ewing said something to the effect that, you know, I'm just a guy telling him what to do, you know, demanding something of him. Like, you're not just a guy, man. And you have to know, for a kid like me from Seattle, Washington, Federal Way, Washington on the West Coast, to come to play in the Big East where guys like Patrick Ewing have paved the way. I mean, it's awesome to see him back in this conference, but he is an icon. He is a Hall of Famer. And I told you walking out, I'm not starstruck, man. We've met celebrities and athletes, but in there talking to him, I couldn't have been more impressed. I told myself 3 or 4 times, this is Patrick Ewing, right? You know, I mean, I played against him in the NBA, but it was different. You know, my minutes came the last 3 minutes of a game where he was, you know,
watching you.
Right, he was watching me. So it's just it's impressive, and it's exciting to have him back in this conference. And it's not just a guy telling a kid what to do. It's a legend.
Well, his team off to an impressive start in conference play, up by 10 on Butler. 10 to shoot for the Bulldogs. Really struggling in the half court offensively. Keelan Martin, 3 to shoot for Jorgensen. The runner from the foul line not going to go. Govan able to tip it around, and it's taken away by Mosley. Now Mosley on the push. Dickerson in the corner, the 3. Rebound batted around, almost into the hands of Blair, but Weidman able to corral it.
And this is the pace that Butler wants, but you got to throw it to the guys in the dark uniforms.
Third turnover for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I think you need to get Keelan Martin in transition not handling the basketball, but in an area where you can kick it to him. If you get in the half court, now you have to start running a little bit more for him, maybe with Weidman and some pick and roll stuff, because it's too hard for him to score right now.
Govan able to get something off, and it goes in. Jesse Govan just saying, help, threw it at the rim, and now another turnover, number 4 for Butler. And a bounce inside, beautiful feed and a finish. Timeout for the Bulldogs.
The Hoyas, maybe a little bit. And really, the other thing it's gotten them is the kids have confidence. You know, you get a chance to win together. You get a chance to feel what it feels like to see, you know, your team's name with only one loss. And in the Syracuse game, they probably could have won that game as well. Not that Syracuse is a great team this year, but, you know, Georgetown, they've learned how to fight and how to care more.
First points for Kamar Baldwin. Break the 8-0 Hoya run. Javon Blair will jump it back out to Dickerson, and there's a turnover.
I thought it was interesting, too, talking to Patrick Ewing before the game, how he made sure that he was very respectful of JT3, because in some way they are in the same family. You know, Big John is here at the game, so I thought it was interesting that he continued to just respect that foundation that JT3 had built with recruiting Jesse Govans and the Derricksons and guys like that.
Quick push ahead, running the floor, all the way to the rim is Mosley, and he'll go to the line.
Now, with that being said, these are plays they're making that we didn't see the last couple of seasons. I mean, their athletes were running slow down, half-court Princeton offense-style basketball. Now, in all honesty, as a player with the New Jersey Nets, we went to 2 NBA Finals. We ran Princeton offense. It works when you have guys, and maybe we were a little bit older and obviously at the NBA level, but when you have kids that run and they play in AAU, they hoop in the park, they want to get up and down and handle the ball, it's hard to say, okay, we know you were going 80 miles an hour. We're just going to go 35 now. It's so hard. So Patrick Ewing has basically said, look, he's taking the governor off. We're going to get out in transition, and it's going to be fun again.
Mosley can't convert on the free throw, so the lead remains 14 for Georgetown. First miss at the line for the Hoyas, who were 7 for 7 before that free throw. Where will Butler find a shooter? Baldwin's been the guy who's been pulling the trigger of late, but he can't connect there, and a good save by Mosley. Here comes Georgetown on the run again. Dickerson on the push. Walker tries to dump it down to Govan, and Weidman able to take it away and a foul. Govan with his first. 7:48 remaining in the first half, and a timeout on the floor. Georgetown scoring from all different angles. Jesse Govan, a little holiday help answered, and then Antoine Walker running the floor for Georgetown. 1 for 8 from behind the arc, and with all those misses, hardly anything on the offensive glass. 1 offensive rebound.
Well, Georgetown bigs and their guards, they're sticking their nose in. They're doing exactly what you're supposed to do when conference play starts. No offensive rebounds. Now, at the other end, you know, Georgetown's doubling up Butler 16-8 on the glass. And really, it's just at one end, it's turned into a rebound drill for Georgetown. Now, I think that's because the shot selection by Butler has been a little bit questionable, and you have to give the credit to the defense for that.
Weidman looking to get it into the hands of Jorgensen. Denied. Excellent defense by Javon Blair away from the ball. Thompson on his way up. That won't go. Rebound for Mosley. It's number 4 on the glass for Mosley. Here's Dickerson inside. Tough shot, and Dickerson going to the line.
Now, the question coming into this season, and I think even, you know, 11th, 12th game in, you still have to think, what is Georgetown's backcourt really all about? You know, who can lead them? And when you're playing this style of basketball, the focus is off of that. You know, the focus is now give the ball up in transition, let your teammates go to work. So, you know, maybe Georgetown is on to something. Not a lot of their games, obviously, they play lesser competition, so they could run and do that. But you're playing against a Butler team that LaVall Jordan says defense is the primary goal. It's our priority.
Yep.
So you're not playing against a slouch on the defensive end either.
But one area that Georgetown, as they open up their largest lead of the night, one area that they're shining tonight, off the bench. 13 points off the bench. That was a big question, was who would provide the scoring when the Stars sat down? Well, we've seen some scoring tonight off that bench. 13-0.
Yeah, I mean, guys have stepped in, and not only that, they've taken good shots. You know, their layups, their mid-range jump shots, but you know, for Butler, what they need to do is just continue to push the ball. You know, leadership is a question for them this year when Keelan Martin's on the bench. Who's going to speak up? I think it's Jorgensen. He's a tough-nosed kid from New York. He's got a chip on his shoulder. But when you're not making shots and you're a shooter like Jorgensen, it's hard to stay up and get everybody up around you. But leadership right now for Butler on the floor is the key.
First free throw of the night for the Bulldogs, and the freshman Aaron Thompson, who struggled this year at the line, just 53%. He's got one more. True freshman. Reached double figures twice already this year from a scoring standpoint. 1 for 2 on that trip. He's got 3. Now, if you're Butler, you've got to get this end taken care of.
There's a lot of conversation going on between the 3 guards for Butler, too. Who has who? At some point, you just got to be like, who cares? Take him, I got him. You know, there's too much questioning and asking and talking and not playing enough.
Blair off the window. He's got 6. Blair with 6, Pickett with 6, Derrickson with 6. Balance tonight for Georgetown.
And it takes the pressure off Jesse Govan to not have to feel like every time I get a touch, I'm going to have to score to keep us in this game.
17-point lead as Jorgensen launches. He doesn't hit. 0 for 4 from the floor. 1 and done for Butler. Pickett on the move for the Hoyas. 20 to shoot as Blair will back it out. Here's Govan from the elbow.
I tell you what, that's a difficult shot. Not the 15-footer from the elbow, but on the move. You know, Jesse Govan thought he was supposed to roll all the way. The ball was delivered sooner and still had the presence of mind to have the great touch on it and make it.
Good drive by Weidman to get to the rim. Tyler Weidman on the board again. He's got 4.
It has to be a 5-minute game here for Butler that they have to win before halftime.
Govan at the top of the key. His 3 won't go. The rebound, Jorgensen. Butler trying to string back-to-back baskets together. We've not seen that much tonight. Weidman inside with a left hand. Good defense by Govan. Kept him short.
Yeah, not his move over that right shoulder, but the good defense.
That caught a foot going the other way to Baldwin, and an easy 2 for Baldwin.
And those are I call them Butler breaks. We've seen that a lot over the last 4 or 5 seasons where it just happens to be there. 50-50, Butler picks it up and goes. And that was another situation where they're going to need more of those in this game to chip away at Georgetown's lead.
Dickerson's played some big minutes off the bench. First back-to-back buckets for Butler on that one we saw a moment ago. Trying to get another one here as they battle for the rebound. Ball still loose, and the tie-up is going to be called. It'll stay on this end of the floor for the Hoyas.
How do you not love that, Kevin? Guys just diving on the floor, loose balls. Now, that's one aspect of the game I think Patrick Ewing's probably getting used to again, is seeing guys diving on the floor for loose balls in the NBA. Maybe one guy goes down, but, you know, to give a little half-fake effort. But look at this. You got 3 guys on the floor. These kids know every possession is so important. You just don't play that many games to be giving up possessions.
Here's the entry to Derrickson. Derrickson inside. Got some clearance and got the left hand to fall.
People at home couldn't hear it. But Patrick Ewing's on the sideline yelling, give it to him. Throw the ball inside. Gosh, big man's dream to have a coach like that on the sideline.
8 for Derrickson as he went after the freshman, Joey Brunk. Here's Baldwin from the foul line. He's heating up a little bit. Baldwin's got 6 now.
And he really is going to have to be that other guy, you know. You're talking about Keelan Martin's getting a nice little break here before halftime. Another good possession for Butler.
Turnover for Georgetown, their 8th. And a timeout on the floor.
And Derrickson looking at working on it over the right shoulder. Got to know your matchup.
High high scoring. You could look at Georgetown right now and think high scoring. 35 points on the board with 3:56 to go in the first half, shooting a robust 52% from the floor.
Well, is it an effect of good offense or poor defense? I think maybe a little of both. You look right there, the rebounds are a huge part of it, more than doubling up Butler, but the offense is good because for Georgetown because it's mindless basketball, meaning in transition you're not running a lot of stuff. There have been no long twos, no forced shots. All the forced shots have been at the rim and they've earned them or they've gotten fouled. For Butler, you just got to stay in front of guys. You know, the communication has to be the key defensively on the road.
Tough ball to handle inside, and it's taken away. Derrickson able to clear it out. Here come the Hoyas on the run once more. Pickett will back it out to Mulmore. Good job by Butler getting reorganized defensively. Govan on the bench right now. Hoyas with 12 on the shot clock. Javon Blair. Derrickson will launch the three. And he hits! Derrickson from deep. He's got 11.
Well, again, Ewing's barking from the sideline for him to get in the post, and he recognized, you know, either way, I got a slow of foot guy on me or a slow of hand, and the hands weren't up, and he knocked it down.
Frustrating first half for Jorgensen, 0 for 4 for Butler. Baldwin with 10 on the shot clock, trying to work against Pickett. Georgetown wanted to travel. Instead, it's a foul.
I don't like the move. I don't understand what refs are seeing. There's a hop step. That's one, Kevin. Now you come down. That's 2 steps. Now you pivot out of that. You've traveled. This, to me, is a travel. 1, 2. Now you pivot. You pivot. I think that's a travel. I see college refs call that. In the NBA, I know they don't call a lot of travels. They will call that at the next. Believe it or not. I do not understand why that is not a travel. Once you go up, you get 2 steps.
Right.
You go off the 1, that's 1. You come down on the 2, that's 2. Now you got to either go straight up and shoot, or you have to pass it. You can't take another step out of that.
Second foul on Pickett. So 2 on Pickett and 2 on Caleb Johnson for the Hoyas. 2 on Badley and Martin for Butler.
Yeah, and that's been part of the issue. But credit again, Georgetown going at Martin early in this game, understanding that's the one guy that can hurt you when he's on the floor.
He's on the top of every scouting report, will be for the rest of the year. As that one falls for Javon Blair, and he'll go to the line.
Wow. I mean, so many things are happening well in this game for Georgetown. I mean, in the past, these would come out. This ball would come off the weak side. Not only that, look at all the fans. And they're actually into the game. They're clapping. The team's playing well, so it's easier to support. But things are going Georgetown's way tonight. And, again, they're not playing a cupcake team anymore like most people complain that they played all season long, which I agree. They did not. No. They played the worst or the second to worst schedule to start a season.
McDermott's 3 won't go. Rebound Derrickson.
But you win these games, doesn't matter. All it turns into is a good record. You know, obviously, NCAA tournament stuff, you'll talk about strength of schedule, RPI, those things, but just worry about what's in front of you.
Yeah, with this league this year, you're going to get a lot of strength of schedule games as Blair steps back and hits the deep 2.
Derrickson again, though. Throw it inside. He makes the right play. Could have forced up a bad shot, finds an open teammate, and that's going the other way. Again, Georgetown's defense is just as good as its offense. Here you go. Could have shot it, but your teammates are moving without the ball. The defender turns his back too late. The knockdown 3-ball corner pocket. I think he might have been on the line on that one, or just over.
They gave him a 2.
Well, that's fine. I mean, those long 2s, you know, shot clock's down. You don't mind those. You just can't get your feet set behind it. But nonetheless, the Hoyas offense is really clicking on every cylinder.
And it's getting so much off that bench. 19-0. Georgetown in bench points tonight. The skip to Mulmore, and Mulmore with an offensive foul. That's his second. So now 3 Hoyas with 2 fouls each.
Yeah, you hesitate. And that's how McDermott got into position. You catch it. If you don't catch that ball off the pass and rip it through and go, you give the defense a chance to set up. But you catch it, you hold it. Now you decide, Too late. Charge.
Butler, 90 seconds to go in the half, down by 20 on the road. Entry inside the Fowler, rejected, stayed with it, couldn't get it to go, and Derrickson cleans it up. It's been that kind of half for Butler. They have not been able to find anything inside or out.
But how about the help on the backside after the block from Mosley? Pursuing the ball.
Javon Blair, that floater not going to go. The rebound to Jorgensen. Butler shooting just 31%. They're 1 for 10 from 3. This is one game after going 18 for 31. Deep three for Jorgensen. That's not going to go. The rebound thrown over to Blair. Blair, the lob in the corner. Mosley splits 2 defenders. Off balance, won't go. Mosley trying to stay with it, but it's out to Butler.
Yeah, you don't mind it. He thought he got hit. He went strong to the basket. Not only that, you have a chance because of a dead ball to get back, set up your defense.
Christian David off the bench for Butler. Baldwin. There's David. Good shovel inside to McDermott, and McDermott gets a pair on the board.
Yeah, that was a poke away by a Hoya defender that actually he's going to get the assist, but that was poked away by a white jersey on the backside.
But now Georgetown can hold for the final shot, and this crowd starting to stand up here in D.C. Dickerson blocked away. McDermott with 1 second from half court. Good if it goes, it will not. Halftime is here, and Georgetown takes an 18-point lead into the locker room on their home floor. That's the end of the first half with our score. Georgetown 42, Butler 24. We'll send you to Mike Hill in Los Angeles with the Jeep Grand Cherokee halftime report right after this.
Govan and Derrickson, you're like, okay, we're good, but we need to give them rest. Who's going to come in and support us and keep this thing going? And that's exactly what did. Any name you name off the bench came in and helped this team in some way or another at both ends of the floor.
And on the first offensive possession, a turnover for Butler, and then it's turned right back over to Butler.
But I like it. I've said this, and I'll keep saying it, because coaches look at certain numbers. Deflections is a huge part of what every college coach thinks is so important as their statistics are involved in their statistics. It's not an official stat. It should be.
I agree.
Because it changes the complexion of everything. Now Georgetown gets a deflection. Butler has it back. But now Georgetown has an idea of what they are running. Now Butler has to go the other way, run something else.
There's Baldwin with penetration, and the floater falls. Kamar Baldwin and now Keelan Martin back out on the floor. Those are beginning the 2 guys that'll have to bring Butler back in this one.
And Keelan Martin being on the floor will continue to create that space for Kamar Baldwin, turning the corner with the cute little floaters inside. Without Martin on the floor, Baldwin is out there really by himself creating.
Derrickson with the hook going right back inside, and Derrickson with 13.
I love the fact that he's comfortable going over either shoulder. You see a lot of one-dimensional big men around the country that can only go over their left shoulder with a jump hook. That's 2 times now he's gone over the right shoulder, and he's right-handed.
Makes him harder to scout, doesn't he?
Absolutely. He just reads and reacts wherever the defender's body is.
9 to shoot for Jorgensen. Off-balance jumper falls, and Jorgensen is finally on the board. He was 0 for 5 before that one went down.
And if you've never seen Paul Jorgensen play before, that's his game. You know, as long as his shoulders are square and he's fading left, right, back, even leaning in, he can make those shots. But he needs to make a couple to get some confidence.
He made 1. He will not make a second, but a foul will send him to the line. Caleb Johnson with the aggressive follow and the foul, his 3rd.
And this is a great job by Jorgensen to brace himself, knowing that length is coming, and almost to keep his body way behind his extended arm to get more of that contact. Give him a chance to make 2 at the line.
He's going to have to take a second because that backboard's still rattling a little bit from where Johnson swatted it with his hand going by. Good free throw shooter Jorgensen with 1 more.
Hey, we were talking to John Thompson II, Pops as I like to call him, before the game, and he was talking about how cold it is in here because of the ice under the floor. I said, you know what? To me, this is the warmest it's been in this building in 5 seasons. You know why? Because there are people in the seats. It's much warmer when there's someone in the stands.
And there's excitement in the building as well. After a good first half, Butler back within 14. Ball poked away and into the hands of Govan. Hoyas will keep it with 18 to shoot. Jamarco Pickett.
A mismatch down low.
And a foul underneath.
That's a mismatch down low. And a lot of times what happens is when you have a guard against a big, defensively, it turns into 3 seconds in the key on the offense because he's begging for the ball. That time, just too much fight by Thompson getting up underneath and gets him another foul sent to the bench.
His third. So down goes Aaron Thompson, the freshman. Johnson on the attack, and Johnson is fouled. Johnson going right back at Jorgensen.
I tell you, and he picked up a head of steam. You knew exactly what he was trying to do. He was trying to put Jorgensen in the hoop with him. And Jorgensen gets in the way. Hey, people have asked me too, you get dunked on, I said, no, never gotten dunked on, but the reason I say that is because I might not have blocked it. I'll just foul you.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, where it gets to that point.
Keep you getting to the dunk.
Yeah.
Stop the process
That's
early.
it. Trust me, it's much more humiliating to get dunked on than it is to foul somebody going to dunk.
Johnson, 81% on the year coming in, but misses both as Jorgensen in transition. The three, a little bit strong, but it falls anyway. And Jorgensen's been waiting for that one to go down all night.
He had a couple words for Pickett. You just got to be careful. He is there, the kid that plays with the most edge for LaVall Jordan.
An 11-2 run and a travel. Butler back within 11 thanks to this three.
Yeah, take a look at Jorgensen on your right here. That's what you call a shooter's bounce. And I think right now, Mike Roberts is talking to Jorgensen and a couple of the players, and even Weidman's going over to say, chill out. But when he made the three, he had a couple of choice words for Pickett. I love players like that, though, as long as they can channel it the right way. They need him on this team to play with that edge. There isn't a player on Butler's team right now that has that edge.
Thought he had that one. He was watching it a long time. He's got the last 7 Butler points in this 11-2 run as the Hoyas will go back to work. A little more energy on this Butler side in this second half as Pickett will launch the three, and he hits.
And I like it. Pickett now needs to just get back. Don't say anything. Mike Roberts is watching both of them, but that's what happens. You make a shot, that guy's going to come right back at you and try to make a shot.
Martin over to McDermott now. 15 to shoot for Butler. Keelan Martin on the attack, and the reverse falls.
That's a great job using that rim to defend the defender, if you will. Jesse Govan's hand got stuck in the net, so he couldn't complete the block shot. But heads-up play by Martin.
First shot in 15 minutes with that foul trouble that kept him scoreless over the final 13 of the first half, and a turnover.
And there's your 3 seconds. When you have a mismatch, sometimes it's hard for you to get out of the way because you're like, hey, I'm open. But if you say I'm open 3 times, that's pretty much 3 seconds right there.
So now Butler off turnover number 13 for Georgetown. 42-22 was the largest lead for Georgetown. Butler trying to make a game of this one. Here's Martin with 15 to shoot. Got his man Derrickson in the air, and he'll go to the line.
Yeah, and that's a terrific move because you get your guy leaning backwards. So now what happens is Marcus Derrickson is thinking, okay, I got to jump back into him to block the shot. The great head fake sets his guy up, and then you jump into him. That's a scorer's move right there. They force you to do what they want you to do, and that's get up in the air.
Well, you know, Georgetown fans are thinking about that Syracuse game. They led by 13 with about 11 minutes to go in that one.
Yeah, and again, Syracuse is not They are not the Syracuse that you remember Georgetown having battles with, you know, back in the 90s and 80s and 90s. They're not a great team, but Georgetown hadn't really played a team with that type of length and that type of athleticism, and in the end, Syracuse pulled it out using that athleticism.
15 to shoot for Mulmore. Pickett now back out to Mulmore. Derrickson the deep three, and Baldwin the rebound. Butler can carve it to a single-digit deficit.
Yeah, I didn't like that shot. I think it took too long. Derrickson held the ball a little bit too long for my liking.
How do you like that shot from Jorgensen 5 feet behind the arc?
Yeah, he has that range. But right now, when you're trying to shoot a shot to get you back in the game, that's not the one you want. You got to go to Keelan Martin. You got to Kamar Baldwin. You know, you got to have a little humility.
Here's Baldwin, enters it inside to Fowler, and Nate Fowler, no, a travel.
That's a momentum breaker for Butler. You know, Butler's trying to get back in this. Just the optics of the score would help them if that bucket went in. So I think that was a wrong call. To me, that's a bad call or a wrong call, however you want to put it.
Butler, though, even with that turnover, started to get a little bit of rhythm in their offense. First 19 and a half minutes, they were shooting 30% from the floor. The last 5 minutes, 5 for 7 from the floor. And defensively, intensity's ratcheted up a bit as well. On the drive inside, Mulmore is fouled, and he'll go to the line.
It reminds me of something Patrick Ewing told us when he was talking about Jesse Govan about cruise control or coasting a little bit. You know, you start to get a little bit comfortable. Other teams, and it's not just him. You know, Georgetown has come out this half almost thinking Butler's just going to go away. We're up 20-18. You know, we just show up and Butler will go away. That's not who any team you play at this level is about. So the fact that you need to, you know, Patrick Ewing's probably telling those guys, listen, keep your foot on the pedal. Let's go.
Says he'll call Jesse Govan up, and he'll be watching film and he'll call him up. Here's an example. You go into that home run trot. Don't go into that home run trot too early.
Come on,
can't go into that home run trot.
I mean, that's what I think, you know, credit Butler for coming out with a better attention to detail and a sense of urgency. But Georgetown, you're right, they've been in a little home run trot here. There's 5 or 6 minutes.
And the pressure forcing the turnover, the travel from Sean McDermott.
I thought that was an interesting conversation we had with Laval Jordan this morning of what Georgetown is trying to do. And he drags the left toe there a little bit. But what Georgetown is trying to do when they put that full court pressure on or that three-quarter court press on, are they trying to slow you down? Or are they trying to trap you? I just think they're trying to make you think a little bit. Next thing you know, you look up, shot clock's down to 15 or so.
Shot clock at 17 for Pickett. His 3 pinballs out of the rebound for Weidman. There's Keelan Martin. Falling down, found Weidman on his way down, and Weidman able to find a couple of points to bring Butler within 11. Weidman with 6. Caleb Johnston against McDermott, and that'll be a travel. Turnover number 14.
But when Jesse Govan hasn't gotten a touch the last 3-4 minutes, I have a problem with that. And if you're trying to put Butler back in their place defensively, you throw the ball inside to him and get out of the way or cut. Maybe a split screen you replace with the guy at the top. Something to make Butler now remember how this game started, and that was getting the ball inside.
Govan and Derrickson have accounted for almost 40% of Georgetown's points all year long. They've been the catalysts for this team. 9 to shoot. Baldwin launches. Rebound tipped into the hands of Mosley, and Mosley able to take it away from Weidman. Numbers if they hurry. The kick into the corner. Now back out it goes to Mosley. Here's Blair for the 3. And Weidman the board.
Good ball movement. Great job by Jacob Mosley, though, to dig back and help his bigs rebound. Love when your guards come back in and help you.
Martin is fouled by Govan. And Keelan Martin headed to the foul line. Second on Govan. Martin 1 for 2 tonight.
and really has been the issue for Butler. They haven't really had a chance to get Jesse Govan into any foul trouble. They don't have a guy really that they're going to throw the ball inside to and make him defend. And Keelan Martin has really had Derrickson on him most of the plays when he's gone one-on-one tonight.
Aaron Thompson, Henry Badley both on the floor now. McDermott and Baldwin will get a breather. Badley got 2 fouls in 1 minute in the first half and sat down. Keelan Martin brings Butler within 9, 49-40.
Got to be some kind of record, no? 2 fouls in a minute?
Didn't take long.
For a guard, Biggs, I've seen it happen.
Last time that Butler had this game under 10 points, Donnie, was 19-11. Midway through that first half. Here's Govan back out to Blair. 9 on the shot clock. Blair, the jump over to Mulmore. 3 to shoot. Gotta get something up. Blair leaning into Thompson and a foul.
Wow. And again, I thought he got away with the travel, dragging the foot. Initially, that's what I thought the foul was going to be. I mean, you really don't know which foot is the pivot foot there, and that's pretty good defense. You stand up. Well, you jump. There was a little bit of jump there, and that's all you have to do is leave the ground a little bit defensively, and they're going to call it. What a bailout there.
4th foul on Thompson. 3 free throws for Javon Blair. And he's 5 of 6 tonight at the line. 11 points for Blair.
I think it's interesting. Butler digging their way back in to make it a single digit. Now back up to 11. But not really making any threes. I mean, so they're not doing it by knocking down a lot of long-range shots. So it tells, if LaVell Jordan wants to tell his team, listen, we can score in many ways. Now, the 3-ball, you'd like to make them. You don't want to be 2 for 15, this late in the game. But we can score other ways if you just believe in our offense and believe in one another, and that ball doesn't get stuck in one guy's hand.
One thing they have done is a better job defensively. Georgetown has gone over 4.5 minutes now without a field goal. So they've kept Georgetown from scoring from the floor, but not from the line, as Baldwin shovels to Weidman, and he's fouled. Kamar Baldwin finding Tyler Weidman. Not a 3-point play, but a chance for 2.
Well, their spacing is much better. Look at that. You draw 2. The third guy defensively is late coming to help, which was Derrickson. But in the first half, the floor, it seemed Georgetown shrunk it. They shrunk it by forcing you to come into the middle, and they had length and arms. Now, it feels like Butler's spacing is better because guys are staying away. Get to the corner. Get to the opposite wing. And now when your guard turns the corner, defense is forced. What are you going to do? You go help? You kick it to the corner. If they don't help, you go to the basket. You draw a guy, you pass. So the game, it really has become easier in the second half. Now, Butler's still down, but that's some positive thoughts that they can have this last 12:30.
Yeah, they've got to feel better about how things are going. But Georgetown's still up, as you said, by 11. But another turnover for Georgetown. Those problems starting them out. That's 15 turnovers now. And there's a turnover right back. Derrickson with the intercept. Good anticipation by Derrickson. The no-look, the big man run on the floor, and Govan going to the line.
Why not? Give him a touch. That's the best part of having a big man. Just give him a touch. Now, these bigs for Georgetown, especially Jesse Govan in particular, you want him to touch the ball as much as possible because he's a terrific passer out of it. He can score. On other teams, just if the big man touches the ball at the top of the key and then he swings it, at least you make him feel like he's involved. I mean, Jesse Govan can't go some 8 minutes without touching the ball, at least in a scoring position.
Badley will sit down, just picked up his 3rd foul. That's 3 fouls in 2 minutes for Henry Badley, who's coming off a terrific game. He came off the bench for 20 against Western Illinois. Govan's first free throws of the night, splits the 2 at the line, 53-41, Georgetown by 12.
I mean, and Jesse Govan, he's got a loud 8 points. The way he started the game, just his touches, you would think he had more. Derrickson's really doing the damage against Butler tonight.
Under 12 minutes remaining in this second half. Nice turnaround for Kamar Baldwin, who's got 12.
Cruz, you see the spacing, though. He's turning. He's not turning into help. The spacing is so much better because their offense is just more fluid, and they're giving each other some room to work.
How much of that is an adjustment or two that Laval Jordan made at halftime?
It's partly adjustment, but mostly mental. We've done this all season long. There's no reason why we go 20 minutes doing that. This next 20, let's do what we've been doing all season long. Get out of each other's way, share the basketball. On the road, it's very important to give the ball to teammates. Look at that.
Give and go with Weidman, able to flush it home. And Butler back within 8, 53-45.
And now you got a game, and now Butler's got some confidence. So I would say this last 10, 11 minutes has to be Keelan Martin time. That means just him touching the ball again and making good plays. But wow, Georgetown, I think a huge part of their success this season is going to be how they respond when they get down, how they respond when they get up, and then when teams start to fight back. You know, there's a character-building moments.
Baldwin's floater a little bit short. Weidman with the offensive board, and Weidman follows it up with a pair. He's got 11 points now. The third Bulldog in double figures. And Butler with an 8. This was a 20-point game, 42-22. Taken away, right back into the hands of Blair, and Blair going to the line.
I tell you, Georgetown, their players, their basketball IQs are terrific. They get you up in the air, but it's about the bigs. Tyler Weidman rolling hard, finishing strong from Keelan Martin, and at the other end.
Take a look at the Jeep Grand Cherokee stat comparison. Bulldogs and Hoyas dead even right now, points in the paint. But the reason the Butler Bulldogs are back in this game, Donnie, is because they've been able to get it done in the second half in the paint.
And it's not just, and it probably no post-ups at all. It's all pick and rolls. It's all floaters. It's all Kamar Baldwin turning the corner, no help stepping up. Obviously, Keelan Martin with a great lead for Tyler Weidman, but Georgetown has to be a little bit concerned because that was really what Patrick Ewing told us earlier was, I need my bigs to be rim protectors. They can't just go out there and shoot jump shots. Everybody can shoot and score and do all that. You separate yourselves as bigs by defending and stopping people at the rim, and Georgetown has failed to do that for the most part in the second half.
12-4, Butler has outscored Georgetown in the paint in this second half. Butler's also done a better job on the glass in this second half. Georgetown was +9 on the boards at halftime. Butler +4 in the second half on the boards. So a couple of areas that Georgetown dominated in that first half. Butler get a little more even in this second half as Keelan Martin going to work, and Martin getting to the rim, and he will not leave that one short probably any other time this year.
Yeah, he just moved the ball a little bit around too much and couldn't finish high enough with the left. Tell you what, I feel like this floor is slanted from left to right. Georgetown, they were rolling in the first half, and now Butler's going that way as well.
Playing downhill a little bit. Mosley up top to Derrickson with the shot clock running out. Derrickson with a 3.
I'm telling you, Jacob Mosley, he, to me, is the key for a lot of their success this season. I think he does so much at both ends of the floor, and especially when they have to start thinking from the guard spot in the half court.
Nice tip in there by Sean McDermott. That's a big bucket with the left hand.
I like that the coaches told us today that he was probably, before he missed the 4 games with the ankle injury, he was probably playing the best basketball of anyone on Butler and probably the smartest player on the team. Showed you a little bit right there. Soft hands, knowing where to be.
Pendleton Heights High School product. Kellen Dunham also a product of Pendleton Heights. Nice catch. Mosley was going away from that ball. Finds Govan again. Govan for the offensive foul. Off arm.
Totally agree. The crowd doesn't like it, but so Tyler Weidman right there. Look at that left arm. If you keep the ball, if you keep your both hands on that ball, and you go in with your body, you're going to get fouled. As soon as that left hand comes off the ball, it has to extend. It's just the natural motion of your body when you see someone coming at you. when I walked in the building today and I found I was working with you, my hands went straight out. Like, no!
Yeah,
So that happens.
It does happen. I was unfortunately standing right in front of you when you did that. It was painful.
You were.
After much medical care, I was able to make it to the game. 9-point game for Georgetown. Here's Blair. A little short. Blair stays with it, and a foul on the floor. McDermott crashing in, looking for the rebound. Instead, he finds a foul.
If I'm one of Blair's teammates or coaches, I'm telling him, when you catch the ball, just wait a half a click, because he's very close to traveling. He's done it 2 or 3 times already. His feet start to shuffle a little bit. And the more he catches the ball, you know, the refs will get more used to watching him play. But I've seen his feet slide 2 or 3 times. They have not called it yet, but something to look out for. Got a little happy feet going on when he catches that ball.
How much of that comes from just learning the game at this level? I mean, he's a freshman. He's still trying to figure out where he is, what he's doing.
Guys are bigger. Guys are stronger. They're faster. Not only that, your mind goes faster as well, because you're like, wow, I was the man last year. Now I'm just a puppy. Now I'm like, you know, I'm a little fish in a big, big pond.
Well, he's been the man tonight with 17 points as a foul on Mosley. First foul on Jagan Mosley, 6th team foul for Georgetown.
Yeah, I think you got to get both those feet set. You know, one of the easiest things to do, I think, in college basketball is take a charge position-wise. Also one of the hardest. When you know someone is running at you and you're standing still and you see a knee up around your sternum or your chin, it's hard to square up and take it like a man, like my coach used to say. It's the easiest thing to do and the hardest thing to do at the same time.
I mean, it's not a good idea to duck and run.
You know, I mean, hey, you'd alleviate the foul if you got out of the way. And probably some pain, physical pain.
Dickerson on the push. Almost turned that one over.
That's where Dickerson has to slow down. You don't have anything under control. 8-minute game, 10-point lead. You got to understand time and score, patience.
Here's Mosley with 10 to shoot on the drive, and Mosley with 7.
For me, he is the glue to this Georgetown team and a lot of their success. I really believe that at both ends of the floor.
He was terrific against Syracuse early this year, at 20 in that game.
He can affect the game without scoring a lot of points, too. That's what I like about him.
And Baldwin is fouled, held up on his way to the rim. And a timeout on the floor. Butler creeping closer.
Kamara, that's his game. Little floaters, even falling away. Great finish there. And then Jagan to the rim. Here's the real deal. Trayvon Blue it is, too. He's shooting the ball so well this season from inside the arc, outside of the arc. It's awesome to see the maturation process of guys who've been in school 4 years and how they get better every single year, because it just goes to show you how much you can learn every season. It's not just about getting in and hurry up and getting out. You know, a couple guys like that. I mean, Keelan Martin's another guy like that tonight as well. Gotten better every season they've been in school.
And Steve Wojciechowski saying on the conference call this week, he says, since I've been in the league, this is the best the league has been. And he goes, wow. That's saying something.
Yeah.
7 teams in the KenPom top 50 as we start off conference play from this league. On the drive, Baldwin with the bucket and the foul. Kamar Baldwin, a chance at a 3-point play.
Well, you would imagine at some point the turnovers are really going to start to hurt Georgetown. And this is Kamar Baldwin, the lefty, going with the right, creating the contact. But it's interesting how the game has really opened up so much for Butler, because they're doing what LaVall Jordan told us today. We want it open. We want space. We want to create our pace, and they're getting that in transition. And now they're back in a little bit of a 1-2-2 zone, a little 3-2 zone at the top. Make Georgetown think about it a little bit.
And those transition points starting to creep up as the Hoyas 3 won't go. And the rebound, McDermott boxing out Govan to get the board. 12-4 now in transition for Butler. Baldwin pulls the trigger on the 3, and he hits And here come the Bulldogs, back within 6 and a timeout taken by Georgetown.
Well, you let a guy get it going. He shoots under 30% for three, but he has dictated his offense by creating the pace, and the pace comes from the Georgetown turnovers. So now they are what we always used to say, creating their offense with their defense and doing a great job of it in the second half, led by Kamar Baldwin.
It's an 11-3 spurt right now for Butler, and 8 of the 11 belong to Kamar Baldwin in that stretch. So he's pacing Butler right back into this game.
I like that they're mixing up their half-court defenses, too. They're in a little bit of a zone. Georgetown, they're daring them now to try to beat them over the top.
With 4 to shoot, Blair launches, and now want to go out of bounds. And it's going to stay with Georgetown. And a new 30-second shot clock.
And Patrick Ewing has to know, I'm sure a ton of teams have done this to him when he was a player. They've gone zone to take him out of the game. Butler has gone zone to get Derrickson, probably more Jesse Govan, out of the game. He's not getting a touch because his teammates are doing that. They're shooting threes. And someone's going to have to say, listen, our bread is buttered inside.
Keelan Martin spinning inside, follows up his miss with a make, and Butler within 4.
And now again, you know, those rebounds really turn into 50-50 balls that Butler is winning off the glass and going the other way. Mindless basketball for Butler right now. No thinking, just play.
Hoyas 2 for 8 in this second half from 3, and they get it to the foul line.
Even that, Cougs, just give him a touch. Good things happen when you throw the ball to him. He's surrounded. If they don't foul him, they're going to draw 2 or 3. Someone's going to be open cutting to the basket. It really is easy basketball. And Patrick Ewing, right now, he's telling Jonathan Mulmore that. Get him the ball.
1-on-1 chance now for Govan after the 3rd foul on Tyler Weidman. 8th team foul for Butler. And used all the rim to get that point.
That's when you need that little Mark Jackson shimmy. A little body language to make it go in.
Some of the younger kids are rushing to YouTube right now going, yeah. Mark Jackson shimmy.
It's worth the watch.
2 for 2 for Jesse Govan. He's a good foul shooter, 71% on the year.
Hey, everyone, even good foul shooters, when they see the game is starting to come to a close and you're just hanging on to a lead, start to get those alligator arms.
Down the baseline, a foul. Kamar Baldwin attacking Jonathan Mulmore with the foul.
Whether it was a foul or not, it was all set up the last 15 minutes because this kid has been scoring. I mean, which one? It was on the arm. The angle of that could have been at the same time, but it was all set up the previous 15 minutes. He's been scoring at will. So the refs are saying, hey, he's hot. Must have been a foul. I mean, that's just how the games go when you allow guys to go off on you.
Best game of the year for Kamar Baldwin. He had 19 against Youngstown. That was his high. But he's starting off Big East play with a 22-point night in our nation's capital.
Isn't this Butler basketball, though, man? You've seen them over the last 4 or 5 years. You think they're out of a game. They don't fold up. They beat you up. They make it ugly. They gum things up. They get back to who they are defensively. And now it's an easy game for them on the offensive end.
And now Baldwin, 10 of the 15 points scored in a 15-5 stretch for Butler to get back in this game and travel.
And who is it? That's Blair. I told you he was getting happy feet earlier.
And it finally caught up with him.
It gets late in the game. Just watch the feet. I mean, he's not sure. And I knew eventually it was going to catch up with him. And you talked about it. He's young. But possessions so very important when you know a team has made a run. It's a 4-point game.
18th turnover, Donnie, for Georgetown. Here's Baldwin going to work. He's feeling it. Has to back it out now for Keelan Martin. Martin working against Derrickson. 10 to shoot for Jorgensen. Jorgensen back to Weidman from the foul line. Hits the 2, and it's a 2-point game.
Again, kids are going to say, who is that? If you look at Antonio Davis, Grant Long, that's who Weidman reminds me of will knock down a 15. But these are guys who played against Patrick Ewing. They're his era. But that's who Tyler Weidman is. Flat-footed, set shot from 15 feet. Count it.
10 to shoot. Georgetown having all kinds of problems finding an open look. Moore with a giant three.
Who's it going to be? You want it to be one of your veterans. If they're sagging in, just the heart to take that shot. Big.
Baldwin floater over. Govan falls. Come on. Baldwin is having himself a night. 24 points.
It's the best possible way for Butler to play because Kamar Baldwin is not a true point guard. He is in the point guard position, but he's a scoring guard, and that's exactly what he's done this second half.
Here's Javon Blair with 18 to shoot. Derrickson the jump to Mulmore, and Mulmore a blocking foul called on Weidman. That's number 4 on Tyler Weidman. 3:34 remaining in this second half. We got a game.
And this is Weidman flat-footed from the top, knocking it down. We got a game, folks.
Fouls will result in 2 free throws, and then the score by half. Look at the big difference. Obviously, Hoyas with an 18-point lead at halftime, but Butler in this second half has stormed back to make this a game, and a big free throw for Jonathan Mulmore to stretch it to a 4-point lead.
Butler's not going to knock you out with style points. They never have. They've never been that team since they've been a member of the Big East. But what Patrick Ewing is finding out is, 19 points at home against the Butler team, it means nothing.
Not the way Kamar Baldwin is playing. A little high off the glass on that one. Mulmore with a rebound.
Probably one of the best closeouts of the half for Georgetown, running at Baldwin and making him throw that ball a little bit higher than he's comfortable with.
Yeah, he's not run into much resistance when he's gone inside in the second half.
And it's mostly been against one guy. That time he met a wall of guys.
Johnson open for 3.
Pushing the foul.
That's going on Javon Blair.
And that's 2 big mistakes by Blair. And that's an easy one there. But Patrick Ewing has got to look down that bench and think, okay, the growing pains are one thing, but I'm trying to get my first Big East win. I might have to rethink who I have on the floor this last 3:03. I mean, that's 2 big turnovers by Blair.
This one could immediately result in points as Baldwin gets 2 free throws, 10th team foul. And he's 5 of 6 at the line tonight.
Now, one thing that Western Illinois game did for Butler, a lot of career highs for guys down the line, even their walk-on scoring for the first time ever, but it gave them the confidence of playing together and sharing the basketball. And I'm sure LaVall Jordan told them that at halftime. Share the ball, good things happen, and that's what they're doing right now, Butler.
Here's Govan with the hook. Rebound tipped into the air, and a tie-up is going to be called. It's going to stay with Georgetown.
That's good defense right there. Not as comfortable as Derrickson is going over the right shoulder, the left-handed hook, Jesse Govan, but he fought to get it back. And the first person to know that it's off or short is the guy who took the shot, so he immediately fouled it up.
Thompson and Weidman on the floor now for Butler. Fowler and Jorgensen will leave. Career high 25 points for Kamar Baldwin tonight. Govan another double-double now. His 8th of the season. 11 points and 10 rebounds.
And went probably 6-8 minutes without a true touch in a scoring position in this second half, which was a big part of how Butler got back into it.
He was calling for it there, couldn't get it on the left block. The bounce into the corner, Blair with a 3, halfway down, it pops up, and McDermott the board, and now Butler down 3 with the ball.
And you don't need a 3. You just don't. Just a solid bucket, maybe a foul at the end of it.
Martin against Derrickson. Driving against Derrickson all the way to the rim, and it's a 1-point game.
That's the best play of the night, in my opinion. That is the play of the night for Butler because they had patience and they got it into the right guy's hand to go get them a much-needed bucket.
Under 2 minutes to go, Big East opener, 1-point game. This is what you came for. And this is what you're going to get all year long in the Big East.
That zone has really affected Georgetown in the second half.
Can't get it to go, and McDermott with a rebound, and Butler, a team that has not led at any point tonight, can grab its first lead right here. Here's Martin. Martin's fadeaway falls, and Butler on top with 1:28 to go for the first time tonight.
And I've said this for, Butler's not that old, but still, I'm sure young kids, you're going to have to go out there. If you're not from the Boston area, you got to go YouTube Paul Pierce. But Keelan Martin has that type of game, and now you can see he has that type of mindset, giving his team the first lead of the night.
Well, Baldwin and Martin have combined to score 20 of Butler's last 22 points. Wow. And a takeaway by Kamar Baldwin stays with Georgetown as he can't keep it in play.
Again, Blair, he's the culprit. He's the guy in the play, and I think Butler smells it. I think that's their blood in the water. The young fella, he's given us the ball back a couple of times in the last 5 or 6 minutes or so here, not coming to the thing. Didn't do my chores every time I see him before every game.
So now Blair will inbound. Georgetown shooting just 32% from the floor in the second half. Butler's 68%. Blair's three is blocked. Gets it back with 8 to shoot. They got to hurry. Mulmore with 4 on the shot clock. Shovels it over to Derrickson. His three is good with 1 to shoot. He hits the three.
This is the loudest I've heard this building in 5 seasons, and rightfully so.
Martin, as we mentioned, they've scored 20 of the last 22.
If it's a quick hitter, it's Kamar Baldwin. If it's a time off the clock, it's going to be Keelan Martin.
Weidman. Here's Martin. Keelan Martin on the baseline. No. Tipping it is Baldwin. Kept it alive for Jorgensen. Now Keelan Martin again in trouble, and he's fouled with 35 seconds to go.
All right, not the worst thing. You don't want to foul a jump shooter. And that's another good play there. Wasn't even really going to shoot the ball. Martin, he was looking to pass this, but nonetheless, at least you get him at the foul line. Make him think about it a little bit. If he makes them both, now you have a chance to get the ball back, set something up. You can't lose the game on these 2 shots, I think, is the most important thing for Georgetown.
I think it's fair to mention it now, Donnie. I don't want to jinx it beforehand or too early, but the last 2 times these teams have played here, it's gone to overtime both times.
And who's won those games?
Butler has won both of those games. Of course, Georgetown had a double-digit lead in this one. They had a double-digit lead in the Syracuse game. That game went to overtime earlier this year in their other big test so far in this young season. Martin has 21. We're tied at 73.
And you see the timeouts there at the bottom of your screen. Georgetown 1. Butler in good shape with 3. Now this is the part of the game that Georgetown has yet to show. Can they dominate? Can they make the right decisions from the guard spot, taking care of the ball and delivering it to the right people?
And it's Mulmore who will set him up. 15 on the shot clock. Here's Blair. 8 to shoot.
That high post is open. Go Van.
Govan with 4 to shoot. Going to work against Martin. Baldwin with 3 seconds. Baldwin, the 3. Not going to go. The tip in for McDermott. They'll count this one up as we play 5 more minutes in a game that looked like a runaway early. Anything but tonight to start off Big East play. And the over 9,200 on hand here tonight have been thoroughly entertained. Pickett into the paint. Off balance, won't go. Offensive rebound down low for Georgetown. Muscling it up, Johnson. Another offensive board. Govan can't get it to fall. Ball and bodies everywhere. And Georgetown had it. And then a whistle on the sideline, or on the baseline rather. And it's going to be out of bounds to Georgetown. Touched by Butler.
When you get into a jumping game with Georgetown, that's when you feel the effect of their length and their size. But if you're a Hoya, you got to finish that point blank.
Mulmore had to just get it in. Govan walking the tightrope on the sideline to keep it in. Mulmore's floater rounds home.
And now you've seen some older guys step up. For Georgetown, Mulmore, I thought, again, he's another one of those guys that has to step up. Mosley from the guard spot. They're still trying to figure that position out. So when you learn a lot about yourself in an overtime game.
3 offensive rebounds it took to get that one as Martin steps back for a 3 in the air ball with the shot clock winding down.
Yeah, I don't like it. The space, not because he missed. Normally okay, and he's not shooting the ball from 3 this season. But I just didn't like the spacing of it. I didn't feel like his teammates were out of his way, so we really had to settle for that, and the defense looked like they kind of knew that.
3rd straight game between these two teams here in D.C. to go to overtime. Butler won each of the previous 2. Nice pass from Govan, but it's batted away. And Butler gets the turnover. Baldwin will navigate up.
The best thing,
ran into Govan. You know what? I'm not standing.
The best thing Georgetown can do is try to get for Kamar Baldwin to get this in a half-court set. He's just too fast. He's too crafty in the open court. Off-balance shots with too much space.
6 to shoot. Baldwin poked free by Mulmore.
I think he has a little bit more struggle in the half court because it's just not as open and you can't really freelance. And that's a good play, but he's already looking up because Govan's standing in front of him. You know, when you're in the open court, no one's there. You can go up strong. You take care of that ball.
Yeah, you go up against Govan and bad things are going to happen.
Even just seeing him in the area.
There's Keelan Martin with 2 to shoot. Got into the paint and floater drops. A little teardrop from Keelan Martin. 23 points. We're tied again at 77. Derrickson, who's huge 3. Made sure we were in overtime. Mulmore with the catch. Govan. The turnaround won't go. Long rebound poked out to Baldwin now on the run. Baldwin in the open floor. Kicks it back out. McDermott for 3. And the rebound for Derrickson. McDermott at 45% on the year from behind the arc, but 0 for 3 tonight. And Govan with the hammer.
I love Jesse Govan's, just his whole mentality. His body language is great. Never too high, never low.
Martin over Govan, not going to get that one to fall. Derrickson the rebound. 2-point lead, 2:05 to go, and good hands by Kamar Baldwin to knock that one away before it got to Govan.
That's a tough one. You got to make the defense commit one way or the other. You give it up too soon, but here, Govan, Weidman just makes a mistake. Never come from the baseline. If anything, you're going to have your help coming from that way. Force him baseline. Now you let him spin and dunk on you.
Weidman playing with 4 fouls.
Man, if they're going to run a double with Govan, you got to come sooner.
Derrickson, nice catch inside.
It's a tough balance when you're a big guy and you can shoot from the outside to know when to go out there and when to get inside. And it's almost for Derrickson to be like, okay, Jesse's outside, I got to be down low, and vice versa. But you got to credit Mulmore, Mosley, those guys for finally in the last 5 minutes and now into the overtime giving the ball to their guys down low.
Well, in Georgetown, you think Patrick Ewing mentioned the bigs again for this OT? 4 of their 6 points have come in the paint in this overtime. Martin, tough pass. Weidman somehow able to corral it, and Weidman puts it in for 2.
It reminds me of Keelan Martin's game where he was the horse against Ohio State. Had 24 points in that game. Did a great job of putting the team on his back. Only 1 assist in that game. He's done a much better job of that tonight, but he is the guy that has to take this team over the finish line with the win if they have a chance.
Open three. Halfway down, McDermott, another rebound. He's got 11 boards. Here's Baldwin. Baldwin probing, floating, and gets it to fall. We're tied again.
You talk about being static. I mean, when Kamar Baldwin keeps moving, you're in trouble. When you can get him to stop and think a little bit, that's when you have him. But here, keeps the ball handling alive, changing directions. Awesome floater with the strong hand.
Quick step aside, 1:04 to go here in Washington, D.C. Still tied.
Indianapolis, and now we got a game. Here we are. You talked about, the overtimes. You didn't say anything about double overtime, Cougs.
No, I did not, but now you did.
Oh.
Look, I'm not going anywhere.
It's interesting when you look at these teams. We talked about it really from the beginning of the season where, those teams 5 through 8 are pretty much interchangeable in the Big East when we talk about preseason picks.
Govan turning, driving, and he's fouled. And if it's Weidman, that's number 5. And it is not, though. It's on Keelan Martin.
Here you have those teams who are in those slots, that 5 to 8, and they're playing each other, down to the nitty-gritty. But that's the other thing I don't think Jesse Govan gets enough credit. He has the ability to catch it from 15, 16 feet, put it down one time, and get somewhere. He's not going to play around with it a lot. He's not just a back-to-the-basket or three-point shooter.
One more for Govan with Georgetown now up 1. Jesse Govan with 16 points, 11 rebounds tonight, and he's 4 for 5 at the line. Georgetown 23 of 30 at the stripe. .9 seconds to go. Here's Baldwin. Keelan Martin steps in for an open 2. Got a good look. McDermott again with the rebound and a foul. How big has Sean McDermott been on the glass for Butler?
That's just a jump ball using his length, going up and getting it, but again, not blocked out. If Georgetown looks back at this game, win or lose, they have to look at how they boxed out or didn't box out down the stretch.
One more for McDermott. His first free throw of the night.
Look at him. You want to run the picket fence for him, don't you?
83-83. Why not another tie? 25.
Telling his guys in a timeout, hey, throw the ball inside. The worst thing you want as a head coach, especially your first year at that program, is for your words to not be heard, for kids to go right over their head or through their ears, and that's not happening tonight. Great responses, great fight from both sides.
Now can this young Hoyas team learn how to win a game in the final seconds? They'll hold for the last shot. Momore with 9 seconds, looking to go. Gives it off to Blair. 4 seconds, Blair. Blair with 2 seconds and a travel. You talked about it earlier, Donnie. Javon Blair with the turnover, the 20th tonight for Georgetown, and Butler's going to get the last shot.
Yeah, I just don't understand how he has the ball in his hands this late in the game. It really, and not to stay on a kid, but you could see it the entire first half and into the second half that his feet were they were all over the place. And to put him in that position, I think, is a tough spot to be in for a coverage. Well, now Govan's going to run back.
Here's the lob. Ball tipped away and taken away, and we're going to double overtime.
And you kind of knew it. Keelan Martin's good.
Caleb Johnson is going to inbound.
And I would think you'd want this ball in front of you. You don't want a full court pass.
Govan from half court. And now we go to double overtime.
Tell you what, that was close. And because really these games turn into whoever can outlast the other team, whoever has better physical presence and can.
It's really a perfect time for a double overtime game, though. You're coming off of a holiday break. You assume the guys are rested to a certain degree. They're not going to be after this one.
I mean, whoever is in better mental and physical shape at this point is going to win this game.
There's Baldwin looking baseline, curls it into the paint. 10 to shoot now for Jorgensen. He'll try the three. He's not had that shot all night. 1 for 7 from three-point land.
Yeah, that's a tough spot to be in, cold. Even though he can make those shots, just you could tell he wasn't comfortable, just too fast. And here they are again into that 3-2 zone, if you will. Now they're back into a little 2-3.
Six to shoot. Mulmore. Now Pickett. Now Mulmore again. 2 on the shot clock. That one blocked away. Up and put in. They're going to check it to make sure as Caleb Johnson's follow fell.
This is great. Another heads-up play. Johnson sees that shot clock. He gets it off, folks, and this is good for the teams, too, because now the coaches get to steal a little timeout, which kind of stinks if you're Butler, because now Georgetown's going to go back and they can get set up defensively.
Patrick Ewing a little frustrated with most of that offensive possession.
Well, yeah.
But this one counts.
Took him too long to get into it.
What a time for Caleb Johnson's first made field goal of the night.
Well, that's why coaches coach and you and I sit over here on the side, because most people would say, hey, he's not really giving us anything if he's not scoring. But next thing you know, he scores a big basket.
He's played a long time with 4 fouls, too. Baldwin's floater falls, and we're right back to even again.
He just gets going downhill. I mean, he's like a good running back in the NFL. When they get going downhill, they're hard to stop.
29 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, and only 1 turnover in 45 minutes for Kamar Baldwin. That's a line. Pickett with a 3. Online, but just a little bit wide as Jorgensen grabs the rebound. Butler has not led in overtime.
It was a great box out by Keelan Martin down low against Derrickson on the weak side as well.
Baldwin trying to get it to Weidman on a wraparound. It'll go out off Caleb Johnson, and Butler with 18 to shoot.
And just got a little bit too deep. The defense stepped up, so he didn't have that floater. And really, Weidman's on the other side waiting to see what he's going to do and just didn't have an outlet.
Jorgensen the trigger to Martin. Keelan Martin, 23 points tonight. Here's Kamar Baldwin with a career-high 29. Jorgensen on the attack. The no-look to Weidman with 4 on the shot clock. Weidman against Govan. And that's a shot clock violation.
That's the rare time since the second half began that Butler looked out of sorts offensively. I thought the wrong guy had it in his hands and then delivered it. Jorgensen to Weidman with 4 seconds on the clock. That's a tough spot to be in for the big guy.
Second Butler turnover in the last 17 minutes of action. And Jorgensen nearly batting that one the other way. 11 to shoot.
It reminds me back earlier in the game when Patrick Ewing said, stop throwing the ball around the horn, attack. That was with Govan on the bench. Even more reason to attack. If they come off of him, you got him wide open.
Johnson down the baseline. Gets a new shot clock. Open look for Mulmore in the scramble. Won't go. Govan with a rebound. Govan can't get it to go. Crowd wanted a foul. It's out of bounds to Butler.
Well, there was a foul each way. The first one on Butler down low, and then there, I thought Johnson fouled Weidman. I mean, that's a foul right there on Martin. And this rebound, great rebound, one-handed. It's a foul on the backside and then one right here. There are no flights out this late for the refs, right?
No, they're stuck here too.
So, wow.
Baldwin, nice split, gets into the paint, and Butler leads for the first time in overtime.
He's just too good when you let him get going in that paint. He can finish with both hands, those awkward, off-balance floaters.
87-85. Butler's only led the entirety of this game for about 40 seconds now. And Derrickson on the baseline, bumped by Weidman, and that's 5 on Weidman.
And that's a big blow, a minute 36 seconds to go. There's a ton of time in this game. We've seen with these late possessions, things can happen. That's a big blow. I think more so offensively.
He'll sit down with 15 points, 8 rebounds, 7 of 9 from the floor. Really effective night for Weidman.
Now, Nate Fowler can come in and defend. I don't know what he can give you offensively. And some may say maybe more than Tyler Weidman, but nonetheless, it's a change for Butler. Now they look a little bit different out on the floor with this lineup.
Tied again at 87. Here comes Kamar Baldwin and his 31 points tonight. Baldwin around the Fowler screen. Down the lane. Won't go this time. Govan with a rebound. His 13th.
Got exactly where he wanted to get to. Baldwin just could not finish. Hit back rim.
Johnson, good catch by Govan. Backing down against Fowler. And a foul is called. Fowler with the shove. Govan to the line.
Terrific recognition. You see Fowler in the game. It's been sitting a little while. Weidman's out. Throw the ball inside to Govan. See what he can do. Exactly what they wanted. Help comes a little bit too late. You know, Baldwin has to shoot down and pinch that off just a little bit quicker. Even if you don't steal the ball, Govan sees you, and now he has to look elsewhere. And I think if you're Butler, you want someone else beating you, not named Derrickson or Govan at this point. Dare someone else on Georgetown to make a play. So Butler has to be thinking.
18 and 13 for Govan in his 8th double-double of the year. And Georgetown back up by a pair. About to fall under 1 minute to go in double overtime. Baldwin on the bounce to Martin. Martin spinning. The floater falls again. 89 apiece.
He's a bad man. I mean, he is... Whew, just knows how to spin. And that's a tough matchup for Derrickson, and you knew he had him in the cooker. As soon as he caught the ball, you knew he was putting him right in it.
Here's Pickett, 10 to shoot. Pickett lost it on the way down the lane, and it'll belong to Butler on the turnover number 21 for Georgetown.
Butler's main goal should be make someone else beat us. That's a tough one. Not sure where you're going, but thought he got fouled there.
Then looked at his hand as if it betrayed him.
Well, you looked for blood probably, which every time I got fouled, I looked for blood. I'm like, where is it? Call the foul. I've never had a ref say, oh, you got blood? Foul.
There's a foul, yeah.
Just got to keep playing.
All right, so now Butler can win it on this final possession. Tied at 89. Martin. Here's Jorgensen. 9 seconds to go for Keelan Martin. Gets the screen from Fowler. Martin, floater, good. 2.6 seconds to go in double overtime. And a timeout, Georgetown.
He did it. Do not foul a guy shooting a shot.
Caleb Johnson will inbound. In it comes to Derrickson. Derrickson from half court. Did he get the shot up in time? It doesn't matter. And Butler in double overtime wins wins it 91-89. The first game of the Big East Conference season may end up being the best game of the Big East Conference season.
I agree with you, Kevin. That game was played.